Hello and welcome to Red Pill Addiction. I'm your host the Brolosopher. If you're new to this channel, please help us grow by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're feeling especially saucy, click on the notification bell to get our latest Brolosophy content. If you enjoyed this video or found it to be of value, feel free to drop a like and leave a comment below. Okay, today's topic of discussion is the dynamics of dating value. With all things, there's a rise and fall. This holds true for our value to the opposite sex. Men and women have far different development and reach peak value at nearly opposite ends in life. It's this fundamental truth that women don't like to acknowledge, and it's because while they win the short game, men win the long game. Women sour like milk while men age like wine. A woman is at her most desirable point in life when she's between the age 18-25. These are the prime years for healthy breeding as well as the absolute height of a woman's physical maturity. After 25, women begin to shift gears, and by 30 they've already begun to show their devaluation. By the time they reach 35-38, the high-value men they've attracted their entire adult lives are now bypassing them for the 25-28-year-olds. Why? Is it because men are dogs? No, not hardly. It's because men can do math. We know that the average length of time people date before marriage is at least 1 year. Then you've got another year of planning for a wedding. Then you'll likely want to spend a year or so before deciding to start a family. Conceiving could take months and in some cases years with some couples. Then once you do conceive, there's a 9-month wait until the baby arrives, and that's just the very first kid. If you want to pop out a few clones, you're going to need a few extra breeding years, but let's just focus on having a single child. So altogether, from start to finish, the best case scenario if all the starts align is 4 or 5 years from the time you meet Mrs. Right. Hence why men prefer women between 25-28. Because, well, math. Now as for the dating value of men, it couldn't be more polarized by comparison. Where men seek beauty and fertility, women seek resources, security, and stability from men. Unfortunately for men, we don't acquire such things out the gate like women do. Men must toil and struggle from the start and build their value over time, playing the long game. We sit back in our 20s and grind, working our way up the social ladder and gaining more resources as time goes on. By the time we hit our 30s, we've pretty much established ourselves and have stability and security covered in spades. This is when men begin to see the shift in the power dynamic. They begin to notice younger women paying more attention to them and taking notice that you drive a nice car, have your own place, and make decent money. They see experience and maturity, wisdom and strength that they seldom encounter in men their own age. Now when men hit their 40s, they enter their prime earning years, and that's when the trifecta is usually achieved. It's at this point when the man holds all the cards and can pretty much have their pick the way women did in their early 20s. Men can then hold this value all the way into their 50s depending on how well they take care of themselves and of course how well they've managed to acquire resources. By the time a woman hits 40, she's an expired lottery ticket that nobody wants to buy. Of course there will always be exceptions to the rule, so please don't come at me in the comment section about how that's not always true. Believe me, I get it. But let's not confuse the exception with the rule. That's an argument you can make, but not one you can win. So in summation, dating as an adult is much like a long drawn-out version of high school dating. Freshman and sophomore year, all the girls wanted the junior and senior boys because they had cars, played on the varsity teams, threw parties, had after-school jobs aka spending money, and were the most physically mature. Men liked the freshman and sophomore girls because they were easier to impress, and to be honest, the junior and senior girls were still busy chasing the college guys. Anyway, as women get older they are forced to make more and more compromises on their standards. They begin to settle for less and less until finally they snag a man. Sadly for them, they had the opportunity to catch that high-value man while they were in their mid-20s, but like most women, they always want to hold out for something better. They become convinced that their power will hold true forever, but then they hit the wall and it's all downhill from there. Men must make their compromises from the start. We've got to settle for the beta chicks that the older alpha males passed over or ran through and used up already. Sure, there's good women out there who don't care about all the money and crap. But those unicorns are few and far between. I wouldn't bet the farm that you'll end up finding one of these mythical creatures. even the ones that truly don't care about your resources or status. They are simply content with a lower level of comfort than most women, but make no mistake. When things get rough they are usually gone. Women do this thing called monkey branching. It's basically the idea that you always have a firm grasp of the next branch before you let go of the one you're on. Regardless of what a woman will tell you, she's got at least 3 men on her social media that she can call and have you replaced before the next business day. Women are smart in that way. It's one of the few times they employ logic and critical thinking in their decision-making. Oh well, I know I've just scratched the surface of the dynamics behind dating values. In a future video, I'd like to delve into the number system in which we can further measure our value based on an individual basis. A more micro approach to the subject, if you will. So what do you guys think? Have any questions or comments you'd like to share? Hit up the comments section below and let's start the discussion. This is the Brolosopher, stay woke brethren.